It's been a long time. My name is Joji and this is my knitting journal where I record my adventures and my work knitting and designing knitwear. I live in Buenos Aires in Argentina and today is January 10th, 2024. It's been a very long time since I did this. I'm excited and scared at the same time, and I hope you enjoy it. I have been going through some changes lately, and I hope I can be more present here because, as you know, I really enjoy it. So welcome to this video. I just want to say that this is not going to be a fast-paced one. I usually talk about my works in progress. I talk about the things that I finished and the designs that I'm working on. I share whether I am traveling. This time I'm soon traveling to New York City to teach some knitting courses. I'll talk about that. I share some things about my life, if I'm reading books or if I'm working out. So if you like that idea and you want to stay, please do so. And thank you for watching. Today I am wearing a shawl that I brought to show you something that I did wrong. This is my lightweight hipster shawl. And I'm first going to start showing you my works in progress. I don't have a lot in progress. I've been knitting a lot. You'll see that I've been finishing some things, but I don't have many things currently going on at the same time. The first thing is a pair of socks that I am knitting for my son. I've been working on this for a very long time, and you might remember them. I think I've showed them here in the past. And they are some top-down socks. I don't know if I am going to be writing this pattern or not. This yarn is from Socks That Rock, Blue Moon Fiber Arts. Socks That Rock is the base, and it is similar to a sport weight yarn. I finished the first sock and I started the second sock while I was running a race. If you watched my latest journal, which I recorded a very long time ago, I shared that I was about to travel to the Andes here in Argentina, our mountains, and I was about to embark on a 100-kilometer race. That's about 65 miles divided into 3 days. So each day was about 20 miles, 21 miles. And what else? We slept in camps. So I finished each day around 2 p.m. And then when I got to the camp, I needed to first tend to my body, which was very sore, fix my toenails, and just try to relax and then get ready for the next day. So I brought my knitting with me to this race, these socks that I am knitting for my son, and I finished the first sock and I started the second sock while on this race. But actually I haven't picked this up ever since. I think these are the first stitches that I'm knitting on this since the beginning of December. You might notice that I sometimes throw or knit English style like I'm doing right now. And then sometimes I randomly change my technique and switch to continental knitting. Some people have asked me why, or when do I knit English style and when do I knit continental. It's completely random. I'm gonna say that I think I am faster knitting continental like most people are, and also that my knitting stitches, my ribbing stitches are more even if I am working in continental, so knitting and purling continental like this. However, of course, I first learned to knit in English style, so that is my comfortable place, my safe space. So whenever I start a row, you know when you start the row that you have those like loose stitches that want to like come undone or fall off the tip of your needle or are a bit stretched out, and you have to be very careful not to mess them up. So usually when I'm at the beginning of the row, unconsciously I will start knitting English style, and I will probably knit the first couple of stitches English style, and then I tell myself, oh no, you are faster knitting continental, so then I'll switch to that style. I don't know if I will have enough yarn to finish this. I think I mentioned this before, so if that happens, I'll have to unravel the toe of the first sock, finish the second, and then use some kind of contrasting color to finish the toes. But I have plenty of that in my stash and in my bin of leftovers. Okay, that is one project that you had already seen. Then I have a project that my mom is helping me with, but I have it here with me. It's part FO, part work in progress. So I showed you guys this project last time I recorded. It's a vest that I am working on. I finished the pattern for the vest, but when I finished the pattern, I showed it on Instagram, and some people mentioned it would be nice to have it as a long sleeved version too. So I asked my dear mom if she could help me with that, and she did knit this up for me. I gave her the instructions, I wrote new instructions for the sleeves, and she made this amazing, incredibly gorgeous and very, very warm sweater. Thank you so much, Mom, you are the best. As you can see, it's missing the neck band, and that's because we had to be very strategic with our yarn management, and this is something that's been going on with my projects lately pretty often. So I still have to work the neckband, and I have this much of the mohair. We have plenty of the main yarn. We are holding, for both samples, we are holding a strand of Shibui, Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, and a strand of mohair. So I'm trying to see if I remember my color. Yes. So my vest sample is work using Snowbound of the Shelter, and Ritual Dyes Faye, the mohair, in the colorway Bone. And then Mom's sample, which is not blocked yet, as you can see, is worked using Heyloft of the Shelter, and one strand of Frida Fuchs. My friends in Berlin, Marian and Steffi, run this amazing company. Frida Fuchs, Fiffi is their the name of their mohair, Fiffi lace, and the colorway is called Kurkuma, and it matches the Heyloft incredibly well. I first gave Mom a different combination. I gave her some the Heyloft, and then I had some discontinued mohair tweed from Shibui Knits. So I thought it's a great opportunity to use some discontinued yarn, because people can replace it with whatever mohair they have in their stashes or whatever they can find at their local yarn stores. But to be honest, the tweed from Shibui Knits, it's not the same as other mohairs. It wasn't as fluffy, and it didn't have the same halo, and it wasn't giving us a similar result to what I have here for the vest. I am super in love with this. I blame myself for not finishing the patterns in time. As I said, I'm going through some changes in my schedules and the way I work, and I am hoping to have these ready soon. I am super proud of what I designed, but I have been struggling to bring my work to fruition. So cross my fingers that I'll have good news for you in the future. I still haven't even started testing it, but hopefully I'll start the test knit next week. So this is the long sleeve version. The pattern will have both versions available, of course, and that is my second work in progress. I plan to finish that neckline this afternoon. My third and last work in progress is a new shawl. I started this only 2 days ago, and it is, I am calling it so far your first brioche shawl because it's designed to be part of a class that I will be teaching on brioche. Very simple. It's actually, I am going to be working on a cruise, so my idea was to get the knitters started onto their projects so that they can learn brioche while making a project without having to think too much about the technique before actually jumping in and knitting. If you know my story with brioche, it took me a very long time to learn. I actually recorded a few videos where I shared that I didn't know how to work brioche, and I took some classes, I bought some courses online, I read books about brioche, I even traveled for work together with Nancy Marchant, the queen of brioche, and she's a good friend, and she was kind enough to sit down with me and try to show me in person and teach me like a one-on-one tutor. And yeah, I always I could do it when I was taking the course, but then I couldn't absorb the technique, and I never felt confident enough to design with brioche until I set a date and I set a goal, and I said I need to learn brioche because I want to design a shawl with this stripe pattern. And I bought a pattern for a brioche shawl, and I started knitting the pattern. And in this pattern I learned the brioche, like the brioche stitches, brioche knit, brioche purl, not in advance. Like when you got to the part where you had to work the stitches, the pattern actually told you how to do it without too much preparation, and I could already see why I needed those stitches and what kind of increases I needed and whether I needed to purl or knit, because I was already into a project. So I thought that was a good way to learn, and I suggested the organizer if they wanted me to design a very simple shawl to get knitters into the brioche groove, and they liked the idea. So as a result, I have to design a pattern. I am holding it in my Leño bucket from Joji Co. This is our project bag company. I'm going to talk about Joji Co and what's coming today too. This bag I really like. It's holding up very well, as you can see. It's about a year and a half old, I would say, and it's in constant rotation and it looks great. We don't have any líneas for sale for this update, but we will have some in the future. So if you like the style, take note of what it's called. I personally really like it. You'll see that I like yellow a lot, and a lot of the bags that I keep from our company are yellow. This is the bag that I was keeping my mom's work in progress in. It's our Recoleta patch tote. But going back to the shawl. So it's a 3-color shawl. It's been a while since I've designed some 3 skein shawls. I'm going back to the basics, I think, and that's where I'm most comfortable. So it's a 3 skein shawl, and I am using random skeins from my stash. They are from different companies. This is Suburban Stitcher sock, and the color could be caramel or could be toffee, but I don't remember. I'll probably have it written down somewhere. It's one of my favorite colors in yarn. I have a lot of these in my stash, and I design with this color a lot. It's like a golden glazed color. This yarn is one that I've used a lot also. This is Fino from Manos del Uruguay. This is this is a twisted yarn, as you can see. Oh, I don't know if you can see. This is a plied yarn, a sock yarn, and it's a Merino nylon blend. This is a single ply yarn by Manos del Uruguay. It's silk and merino blend. And the color is called Ivory Letter Opener. I know because I've used it before for my newspaper pullover. This was the white I used for that design. And then this is my trusty that I use for everything, Tosh Merino Light, in the colorway Filtered Daydreams. And this is also a color that I've been drawn to a lot in the past few years, and I use this yarn and color for a cardigan design called Catch My Heart. So these 3 are going to become a shawl, and I'm going to show you what it's looking like. Let me see this is the right side of the shawl. It's a simple design. As you can see, I am alternating the 3 colors, and I'm using sections of garter stitch and brioche. And I decided, since everyone was going to sit down in the class, I would also have them do these incorporated or built-in I-cord edging as they go, so that when they finish, they don't have to work on any edgings or finishings to the shawl. I like the idea that the shawl grows in this proportion, so whenever they are ready to bind off, they can just bind off whatever size they want. So maybe they want a small bandana like the size I have right now, so they can just tie it like this, which I think would look very pretty, and they will have just a tiny bandana like this, or they can keep going and have a big shawl. If I have the time, I would like to make a couple of versions so that they can see, but anyway, the shawl keeps growing in this proportion, so if they want, they can use only 2 colors, so or more colors, whatever they want. So yeah, that's my current work plus design in progress, And those are all the projects that I am working on right now. I have a list of the things that I want to talk about here. Yeah, so probably I should have mentioned that I have a pattern release to talk about. It's a pattern that I launched yesterday, and it's called the BOXY RAGLAN Cardigan. I don't have it here with me. I'm currently staying at our summer house, where I have the things that I've either just finished or things that I am working on with the patterns or that I have to photograph. And because this pattern was neither of those, it was already photographed and I had already finished the pattern some days ago, it stayed back in the city. But here are some photos that I'm showing you. It's very simple. It's a very simple raglan cardigan. It's oversized. It has a boxy fit. I made it slightly wider at the body so that it has that very comfortable style and look. I got this fluffy, very, very fluffy yarn from Moondrake Yarn Company. Moondrake Co yarn, I think, Moondrake Company yarn. I got it when I was in New York City last year, so a year ago. Rachel, the dyer behind Moondrake, she was visiting in New York City and she sent these skeins in black and white, and she didn't send them, she gave them to me in black and white, and I really like the yarn. I think it's very hard to design with novelty yarn. I would say this is definitely novelty yarn. It's 100% merino, so it's not your usual novelty yarn where a lot of acrylic is used. This is 100% merino, so it's not plasticky feeling. It's very, very soft. I actually thought that there was some kind of alpaca like suri mixed in, but then I checked the label and there wasn't. It's just very soft merino, and it's spun in a way that becomes very, very fluffy. I wish I had the yarn here to show you what I mean. It's hard to design anything with this yarn that is not something very, very basic, because it doesn't have a structure, so it's not suitable, in my opinion, for something like cables. The fluff makes it very hard to show off lace or any other kind of texture pattern. So I decided that I wanted to use it because it intrigued me, and I had been, and I'm still going through that fluffy fibers phase where I'm experimenting with any fluffy yarn that I can get my hands on. And I decided to make a simple raglan cardigan. All my raglan cardigans, I'm very careful with them. I check that the yoke depth and the sleeve measurements are adequate for all the sizes. So sometimes they are a bit lengthy because I have to give different instructions for all the different sizes. But it's a super simple, beginner-friendly pattern. I say this is the pattern that you tell your colleagues that they can knit themselves if they ever ask you to knit a sweater. Like it's so easy and the techniques involved are really basic. Just knit purl and some increases. And because it's not fitted, it's not meant to be fitted, you can actually have that wiggle room to play with. It doesn't matter if you don't hit the perfect size, you can always make it work, even if it's a little bit bigger or smaller than you anticipated. When I was styling the sweater, I really liked the idea of tucking it into my trousers. I was wearing these orange or terracotta wide leg trousers, and I felt that everything was a bit too oversized, the things that I was wearing. I was wearing a tight-fitting top underneath, but when I closed the cardigan, it didn't look so great on me because I was wearing a boxy layer on top and another boxy layer underneath. So I tucked it into the trousers, and I loved the look, and I really think that that's the best way to wear the cardigan, at least for me. And so yeah, and I used those photos for the cover shots of the pattern. I hope you like them as well. What else? Yeah, so I was thinking today, it makes no sense what I was thinking, but often I feel like recording on YouTube, and it always sort of happens that it is during a time when I'm more active with work, and so I finish designs, I publish designs, and then I want to talk about my work and the things that I am working on next and all my works in progress. And I feel guilty because it seems like every time I record a video, it's to promote something or to get you guys to go buy my pattern. And sometimes I don't record actually so that this doesn't happen, which is silly. Of course, I would love you to go check my pattern and to support what I do. That this is my work, and I couldn't do this for a living if you didn't buy my patterns, but it's just some kind of block that is not helping me move forward with the things that I want to do. So I decided to get past that and sit down and say, this is the pattern that I just released. This is what I have to say about it. There's always a story behind the pattern. There's always a story why the pattern is so simple, why I designed it that way or that other way, and why I chose those colors and why I chose that yarn. And I want to tell that story, and I want you to know the reasons behind those patterns and what I think they're perfect for. So here I am trying to get over my self-consciousness, and yeah, kind of like an imposter syndrome that it's creeping on all of us all the time. Okay, now I have some beautiful works in finished objects to show you. I think I will go from smallest to largest. These are all unpublished designs, and know that they will come back to the journal when it's the time to release the pattern. I would love to bring them back, so you will see them again. This hat was made using some of the yarn that I showed you last time I recorded. This is one of the yarns that I brought from my visit to Spincycle yarns. I don't know if you remember, I brought a single skein of Plump, and this is the colorway Ghost Ranch, and I made a beanie. I really like said beanie. It's this is a pattern that's, I think it's ready. I think that this will come out next week, and I don't think I will be recording next week, so go check it out next week if you like. It will be called Chubby Butterflies, and I had great help from test knitters from all over the world testing it, and their beanies are looking great. So if you have one skein of the Plump by Spincycle and you don't know what to do, this will be coming out next week. You will need one or a few yards, about 30 yards of contrasting color. I use Cardo by Manos del Uruguay. It's another chunky weight yarn, and the color I used, if I'm not mistaken, is Peach Blossom. I made sure that I found something with good contrast so that the butterflies could show properly against the background. Okay, so that is one pattern that will be coming up shortly. And the next, I think I showed you this. I am not 100% sure. I think I talked about how I was knitting this when my kid was in the hospital. But everyone's favorite patterns, I have to say, are one skein shawls. Mine too. Whenever I'm like in between things, oh, what should I do? What should I make? One skein patterns are palette cleansers. They make for instant gratification projects and or presents. And this is one that I really like. It came out from my head, I don't know, pretty spontaneously. I used a skein of yarn that the dyer gifted me, and yeah, I think I showed this before. I am finalizing this pattern. This will probably come out not next week, but maybe next week too. So 2 quick projects for next week, and I wanted to show you. Okay, this is a pattern this is a project that I finished and blocked, and so you can see it's open and airy. Even if it's been blocked a long time ago, it still has the open lace and the drape. However, by an accident of nature and weather, my lightweight hipster shawl got absolutely wet in a puddle, literally in a puddle here at the summer house. We had a storm, very, very bad storm, and this got stuck in a puddle and I didn't block it. So it got wet, then it dried out like the worst, and I never blocked it. And I want to show you how sad an unblocked shawl looks. So look at the fringe, it's very sad. And also this is lace in between the Indian cross stitch and the stitches. This is the right side. The stitches, you can't really see the lace pattern. It's just a mess. It's a mess. The hump of the shawl came back. You know how all crescent shaped shawls have a hump here? The hump came back, and it just doesn't have the same drape. Of course it has some drape, but it doesn't have the same drape. So I will give this shawl my attention today. I went back to the city to get my blocking boards, and I am going to re-block it. The yarn did fade a little bit. There's like some running dye, but only because this was in a puddle for a day. Super sad. Then also I wanted to show you how whenever I get a fringe wet, then it's very hard to block it without having it curl. So my advice is to, if you want to add the fringe to a shawl, I would first block the shawl and then add the fringe, so that you don't have to fight so hard to get the little tassels to stay straight and not curl when they get wet. And then these two guys are beautiful projects that I will be, one of them is about to be finished. I just have to finish the photos, and the other one I just finished the project, so it will take me a while. It will take me a couple of months to give it to you as a pattern, but I love it and I want to show it to you as soon as possible. So the first one is called MILTON, as like Elton's second cousin, and of course it is based on Elton, and it's a new collaboration with Amy from La Bien-Aimée. We will both be at Vogue Knitting Live in just 2 weeks from now, and this is the pattern that we have worked on together. Last year we worked on La Prairie. I don't know if you remember, it was a fade cardigan, with a very elaborate stitch pattern with bubbles. It is beautiful. So many people love La Prairie, and this year we wanted to give people a cardigan, which everyone loves, but also something not so advanced in technique, because we just like to keep things varied. And so Amy released one of the bases that I use is called Sport Nouveau, and it's a newish base. I was one of the first ones to get it, and I started using it for this design. And the other base that I use is the Mohair Silk. And so Amy brought these yarns, will be bringing these yarns to her booth in New York at Vogue Knitting Live. You will get to see my sample there. You will get to see the sample that Amy did for La Bien-Aimée, and I will be there meeting and greeting, and you can shop for yarn. So this is MILTON. I am so in love, guys, with this thing. I'm like super happy with it. Yes, it has the same stripes as Elton, but as you can notice, this is a completely different design. I noticed that I have some stitches here that I have to tighten. I just finished blocking this. This has a shoulder construction. It has a slope here. It is not a drop shoulder like Elton. It has a lovely shawl collar. It weighs nothing. It only took one skein of mohair, and you will see how long this thing is. And I used 3 skeins of the sport weight, and it's so feminine and delicate, and also it is long and beautiful, and I love it, and I'm so happy with it. I'm so proud. So this is MILTON. It's Elton's cousin, worked in collaboration with La Bien-Aimée, and it will be published around January 23rd or 24th, just before Vogue Knitting Live, or 22nd, I don't know. I need to talk with Amy about that, but it will be released to the public. It is not an exclusive pattern. We will just launch it during the time of Vogue Knitting Live, so that people know that they can come and get their yarn in New York, but you will also be able to get the yarn in Amy's online shop. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think, and yes, so get ready for MILTON. I think for those of you who don't like a drop shoulder so much, this is an excellent alternative. Okay, and lastly, this thing that I'm going to show you was also made with some of the yarns that I brought from Canada. I'm not going to wear this one because I can't show you 2 long cardigans at the same time. I'll probably show you how it looks on when I release the pattern. But this long cardigan is a thing of my dreams. I don't know if you remember, but I got a 6 skein set of mohair from Mrs. Brown's Bags. Jody, her yarn company is called Frankie Grey Fibres, and this is their mohair, and I made it into the cardigan of my dreams. I'm in love with this, and I am writing the pattern, and I am excited and happy and so in love with this, and I already have plans to wear it to a wedding, and I'm all the things that one can be when one finishes a project that one's very excited with. I'm excited. I'm really in love with that thing. It looks great on. I love the way it fits. I'm actually really seriously in love with that. I'm actually thinking whether I should knit myself another one, but it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so that's it. It's work with 2 strands of mohair, throughout, and it only weighs 300 grams. So it only took 6 skeins of mohair for my size, and it's almost knee length. So I had a lot of finished objects to show you guys, and I debated whether I should show you whether to show you the designs that are not yet published but are finished. But you know, I love sharing. You know, I love your comments, I love your feedback, and how can I expect to get feedback if I don't share the things that I'm working on? So comment away, let me know what you think. If you think that something could look better in a different way, also let me know. Or if you like, okay, you haven't designed this or that in a while, I would also really like to hear that. I think I've been designing pretty varied, even though I haven't been finishing the patterns. Like, we have cables for the vest and sweater, we have lace for the mohair, we have stripes, we have brioche, we have a beanie, we have shawls. But if there's something that you missed that I haven't been designing in a while, do let me know, because I also appreciate that so much. I think it's invaluable to hear from you, and yeah, thank you. Okay, now I want to talk to you about our little bag company called Joji Co, where we make bags for knitters and to fulfill every knitter's dreams. And we have a shop update coming tomorrow, Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 4 p.m. Buenos Aires time. In this opportunity, we will have a lot of bags. I didn't bring all of them to show you because I don't want to tire you, but I did bring 2 of them for you to see and talk about how we make them and how we sell them. So this little bag is called the Mini Santa Cruz, and it is a 3 skein bag. So I'm going to go ahead and put my shawl project. Sometimes I show the bags on videos and people tell me, can you please put already wound balls instead of just skeins, because balls do take more space than skeins. So 1 ball of yarn, 2 balls of yarn, 3 balls of yarn, and then my work in progress go in there. And then if I want to knit from this, I normally will flip the handles like this and use it as a yarn ball. And if I want to close it, I just thread the longer handle through the smaller loop. We have a line of bags called Santa Cruz. We have different models and styles. The Santa Cruz bag is popular because it's got these little cross stitch details in all the different sizes that we make. This is the mini and it's for 3 skeins, and then you will see our saddle logo embossed on the leather. So far we have always made the Santa Cruz in suede, which is a natural leather, but it has a suede finish. But for tomorrow we did make this in the hammered leather. I personally love using and wearing leather or beautiful project bags for all of my projects. I love matching my project bags to the colors of my projects. It just makes me feel that whenever I put my project down, it's somewhere special, and that is always beautiful, not just when it's out, but when it's tucked inside a lovely project bag too. So if you like this is the Mini Santa Cruz, and all of our bags are handmade. I do not make our bags. I don't know if I don't think anyone ever thought that I did, but just so you know, we work with local workshops. So what we do is we buy all the leather. We, as in Charlie, Sylvie, Paula, and me, we are a team of 4 who manage all the, we manage the product making, and then we bring the leather to different workshops in Buenos Aires, so they are all very close to us and very local. And each little workshop that we work with specializes in a certain product. So there is a workshop that makes all the Santa Cruz products. There is another workshop that makes all the lined products that have a zipper. All of our workshops are 2 to 3 people, and most of them work from their homes. And what else? Then also we have like a mother workshop where Silvana and Maca are our lead workshop, workshop leaders, I would say. And they cut all the pieces of our bags and they make bundles that then we take to the workshops where they are sewn and finished. So yes, in total we work with 4 different workshops here in Buenos Aires. They are all very beautiful, they are small, and we've been working with them ever since we started our company, soon to be 5 years old, which is something that's worth celebrating. Of course, our leather is natural and it's locally sourced. We don't import any of our materials, but we do export them to the world. So this is Mini Santa Cruz. And the other product that I want to show you, because this is one that I've been thinking about remaking for a long time, is the Sierra backpack. So this beautiful bag is both a tote that you can carry over your shoulder, like this, of course, and it also has a long strap to wear as a backpack that you can adjust, as you can see. This strap can also be removed if you find that you don't wear the backpack option that often. You can remove or replace with a different strap. This is also handmade by our artisans in the same type of leather as the bag that I showed before. It's our hammer leather. It has this rugged texture and it has a tonal color. It's not solid. I like this leather a lot because it reminds me of tonal or kettle dyed yarn compared to solid yarns and solid leather. It has some snap closures on the side to keep it more compact on the top. And then it's a really great commuter bag because it's zippered. And you can hide the top of your zipper like that. And inside you will find a compartment for your reader or your tablet. And there's also a liner for the pocket here. So this is the Sierra convertible backpack, and tomorrow we will have it in this teal colorway only. But if you guys like it, then we might make it again in other colors. So check out Joji Co. It's the shop update, as I mentioned, is at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Buenos Aires time. Okay, now I want to stop for a pause for a moment and tell you about my book situation. Because I've been sharing my book situation online, I think that it has sparked 2 things: a lot of readers and a lot of people sharing that they are reading the same thing. Because I was unaware that so many people were reading the same until I started sharing what I was reading, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm reading that too. So I was sort of swallowed by the fantasy romance genre. It started with someone, I don't know, somewhere, TikTok, somewhere, recommending The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And I read that, and I thought it was very interesting. It's a smutty book. So smutty, you should know that there is some kind of explicit sex in the book, which I was not expecting. I thought it was a fantasy book, and I thought it was a really interesting fantasy book. I had read fantasy books before because my kid, my eldest, is a very avid reader, and he reads a lot more than I do. And we talk about books all the time, and I try to have an interest for the things that he loves the most, which is fantasy books. And so, yeah, when someone said, oh, this is The Fourth Wing, a fantasy book, I thought, wow, it's so recommended. I should probably read it, and then if I like it, I can recommend it to my son. So it started as a fantasy book. It starts as an academia type of story. It's nicely written. I have to say, I like the author's writing. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it's nicely written enough. And the story was interesting, and I think I read something like 5 or 6 chapters, and I told my son that he should read it. It's a really interesting story, and these young kids and in this academy, blah, 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 blah. And then the story got hotter and spicier, and then eventually it got to the point where there's some very intense romance action. It's a great book. I really enjoyed it. I was not expecting to enjoy so much this type of literature, but I loved it. I have to say, it sparked my imagination. I was looking forward to the next chapters. It made me think of things that I hadn't thought of before, and it improved my relationship with my husband, of course. So yeah, I finished this book, and I thought, okay, what do I do now? And so I posted on Instagram, I think, that I had finished this book and I didn't know what to read. And of course, our community came to the rescue, and everyone who was reading the same books showed up, and they said, hey, I'm here with you, and here's a list of recommendations, which was very funny. And I started reading a lot of these books. I started reading, if you read this type of fantasy, you definitely know Sarah J. Maas. So I started reading the books in the ACOTAR series. It's A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I finished that series. It's several books, and I knitted through those books, and I think that I also probably was going through some things, and I needed a way to escape, and these books just helped me turn my mind off and just relax and knit and listen to these romantic and fantastic stories, which are great stories. They are great stories with great worlds. I actually do love fantasy books, whether they are romantic or not. I have learned to really enjoy them. So yeah, I've been reading that. So I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I read Crescent City. I am currently about to finish the Throne of Glass series, but all by the same author, Sarah J. Maas. And yeah, I've been really enjoying these books, and if you are looking for something interesting to spice up your reading life and bookshelf, then give them a try. They are really worth the time. And finally, I'm going to talk about my workout and working out routine. I finished running the trail race, that 100 kilometer trail race, and I was too tired, guys. I was really tired. I finished it really well, in great shape. I was among the first third of the finishers, which is super, and I was actually about 15% in my category, which was super. I was very proud of that. But I have to say that I came back home feeling completely depleted, and I hadn't set any other sports goals for myself, and I still haven't done it. So I took a whole month off and basically just walking with my dog and doing very short runs, and I have been enjoying that because I think my body was a bit destroyed after all the running and the strength training that all the running demanded, and I just want to sit and knit and listen to my books, even though I ran a lot to my books. That's why I listened to my books, and I was running to the audiobooks, and I got many hours of books in during my runs. So, but still, I am like in between goals with my working out, with my sports, and so yeah, I don't have any new races in the future. I just want to keep working out so that I can maintain a level of fitness and athleticism, so that whenever there's a race or an event that I want to take part in, then my body can actually get ready and get prepared with more easily. Before I go, I want to thank you for being here. I hope that I can record again before going to VK Live. But in any case, I will be traveling to New York on January 23rd to take part in Vogue Knitting Live 2024, which takes place in Times Square, New York, in the Marriott Marquis Hotel. I am going to be teaching workshops on Saturday and on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those courses are currently sold out, but I will also be doing a free meet and greet on Saturday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at the Brooklyn General Store booth, where I will be with my friend Amy from La Bien-Aimée, showing you the MILTON cardigan and the beautiful yarn that Amy has made for it. And I hope you can come and say hello. Remember that you never have to pay for a class to come and say hello to me. I love hearing from you, and I love knowing that you care enough to come and say hello to me, so please do so. I will appreciate that, and it will make me feel very well. Again, thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you enjoyed this recap of what my last couple of months has been like. See you soon. Bye.